So now you see, for example, an individual is suffering with some sort of a sensation. Okay? Now this sensation is something that is universal, which we saw. Right? This is a sensation that is going to come up in that individual, in the fears, in the dreams, in the childhood, in a chief complaint, wherever it could be. Yes or no? Yes. Now this chief complaints, fears, dreams, whatever the person is having, this common, this centrifugal, this center sensation that is coming up, which is actually nothing else but the expression of the vital force. Right? Now, this vital force has to have something called as a coping mechanism. Are you getting? Coping mechanism. What does coping mechanism mean? What means cope? To cope means what? Manage, covering, adjust, to survive, to fight back, to react or to fight back or to survive, whatever, is to fight back whatever this sensation is. Right? So the vital force faces this sensation, has this sensation, inherited this sensation from the womb to the tomb, and what happens is it has to fight back. Why does it need to fight back? Any idea? To maintain that equilibrium. Someone said something here? Survive. Yes. So if the fighting back mechanism wouldn't have been there, would it be possible for us to stay alive? Would it be possible? Come, my dear mosquito, bite me, fill your stomach with blood, finished, go tell others and come. Without the coping mechanism, we wouldn't have had any sort of survival. Now, this coping mechanism was done by our master Samuel Hahnemann, where he observed that there were some cases which were coming up every yearly, every seasonally, something like that. Right? He found that in spite of giving the best indicated remedy, there are some cases which were coming back again and again. So he made a study. He made a data about it. Which are the cases that are coming up again and again? Right? So this study was made by him. And thus he came with this idea about chronic disease. And when he came with this idea about chronic disease, he saw that there are some people who are suffering with a typical type of diseases given by some remedies. So he saw that there is something where the people who had eruptions, they had these eruptions with a particular format. And these eruptive cases had some particular format called as they had to struggle with this particular thing. He saw 10, 20, 30, 40 patients, and all these patients who had this eruptive type of pathology or eruptive type of disease, they had a lot of struggle. Then he saw some other type of cases where they were something called as wards, cons, all these type of cases where he saw that these people, unlike these eruptive cases who had struggle, they did not have struggle, but they had something called as a fixity, a rigidity, something that was very strange in them, that they were fixed. and therefore fixity was the thing that was noticed by him in these type of people. Now, apart from them, there were few lot of people. Some had this struggle, some had this fixity, and there were other few people who neither had the struggle nor had the fixity, but they had something called as complete destruction. Right? And he saw that these were the people who had things like ulcers which were destructive. And what did he notice? He also noticed that these people with this eruptive struggle, with this warts and cons having fixity, with this particular ulcers and all ulcerative diseases pathology, had destruction not only at the physical level but also at the mental level. So this gave a birth something called as that these are the people where struggle is for eruptive type of pathology, where fixity was for ulcerative, for warts and cons and all these type of pathology, where ulcers were for destructive type of pathology. So he came to understanding that this is a miasma, this is a type of coping with that particular pathology. So eruptive pathology people were coping in the form of struggle. Whereas warts, cons, they coped up with having the fixity. It's okay, I have warts. It's okay, I have corn. It's okay, I have tried, it is not going. I took that horse hair and I tied it, and after 8 days it fell off, and then I found that there were 2 more again coming after 2-3 months somewhere else. I have tried, but I can't do anything. It's okay. Are you getting? So they were having this particular tendency that they were becoming more fixed in their ideas, fixed in their thoughts, fixed in their physical pathology. Then came this particular thought about the ulcers. They were desperately dying. They were so bad that these ulcers were completely damaging their whole structure of the body. Cells, including the cells. The word ulcer comes from this particular meaning that it has got destruction in its shape and its structure. So mentally also these people had complete destruction of their mind frame, thoughts, ideas, visions, everywhere. Are you with me till here? So these 3 were formulated, they were tabulated. And he had 90 remedies. 90, 92, 93, whatever number of remedies were proven at that time. So he categorized what is called as, let me put these remedies under those 3 which were coming into this particular categories. Let me put these remedies under that particular belt. Looking into the proving, looking into the mind state of those remedies, I put these remedies, whatever were proven by me, under these categories.